Hey up. So we're heading over to the bootleg capital of the world this episode with a Turkish film. We're checking out The Sword and the Claw. This is a 1975 Turkish action-adventure film directed by Natuk Baytan. Might have butchered that name, I do apologise. Who has directed a bunch of films, loads of films of varying qualities from what I can tell. Nothing I've ever heard of though, but looks like he kept himself busy all the way up to the mid-80s where he passed away. So yeah, busy guy. Speaking of busy guys, this film stars a fella called Cüneyt Arkın, again probably butchered that, and he is a massive name in Turkey. He's been in over 300 films and he's directed 40 of his own. We said busy guy for the director, my god, this guy's never stopped. So, I mean, it might be good because it's got a massive name in it, so we'll see. Now, I've seen Turkish Star Wars before. Of course I've seen Turkish Star Wars before. So, I don't really know whether to expect that level of insanity, or if it's going to be a little more toned down, or maybe it's even crazier. I have no clue. Let's check it out, shall we?
My lady, I'm going to look for a doctor. Don't worry.
Take her to the dungeon. Lock her up until she dies.
Set in what I believe to be the distant past, we are with a king and queen. The queen's pregnant and they get attacked and killed by this guy called Antoine, who's just taking over the kingdom, I guess. The baby survives though and is raised by lions in the wilderness. The local town throughout the years hear about this lion man and give him that name, Lion Man. A few years later, they decide to take this Antoine guy down because he's a bit of a dick. So a group of bandits, along with some of the old followers of the rightful king, the previous king, and of course Lion Man, set together and fight their way through the king's armies to take the throne back. This film does not stop. It is action-packed and over the top, super campy and super charming. A lot of fun. It's about 87 minutes long, which I worried when I saw that. I thought this could easily overstay its welcome. It doesn't though. It manages to keep its energy throughout the entire thing. It's constantly throwing different plot twists at you and different beats are happening. It never really settles on anything and it just keeps going and going with these big impressive fights up until the end. Yeah, enjoyed myself with this one.
What do you want, you lousy bitch?
Please, I'm so ashamed.
This film is dubbed badly, very badly. Nobody has any emotion behind the voice, so important lines will be delivered very flatly, just as much as like throwaway lines, and it's kind of ridiculous to watch. But then every now and then, rarely, but every now and then, they'll put all their emotion into one little outburst and it'll just take you completely off guard. It's a laugh. It's very fun to watch, and it kind of reminded me of like those really bad martial arts dubbings from the like late 70s, early 80s, which I do have a soft spot for, don't get me wrong. The character of Lion Man is excellent. I really like him. He's got the strength of a lion, and he kind of has this sort of like Tarzan like sub-story, I guess, where he gets brought in by this gang who are wanting to use him to fight. And he sort of falls for the leading lady, learns English, and yeah, they use his animal strength and instincts to take down the bad guy. It's a lot of fun, and he does some crazy stuff. When he gets his claws at the end as well, it's really fun. It's really good. The action is, again, the highlight with this. There's a lot of really impressive choreography, some really nice fight scenes. They go on for a very long time, but they're very fun. It sort of blurs this weird line between this sort of cool swashbuckling side where they're swinging off ropes in billowy white shirts with intricate sword play, and it mixes that with slapstick ridiculousness where people are just getting open palm thwacked most of the time, and it's great. And then Lion Man comes in, jumping like a frog, and then climbing up walls and stuff like that. It's, yeah, there's a lot of highlights to this, and it is just over the top, crazy fun. Really good. I like the setting. I like where it's been shot. Turkish castles, a lot of more elaborate interiors than I expected, and it all fits with the time period. The music's decent as well. Uses a lot of classical pieces, stuff you'll have heard before. And I wasn't too sure what was going to happen with the music because, as I say, I've seen Turkish Star Wars. And let's just say some of these low-budget Turkish bootleg films have a tendency to not give a shit about copyright and just straight up steal music and even scenes from other more popular Hollywood films. That's not the case with this one though. Not that I noticed anyway, I might be wrong, but I didn't notice anything. All I noticed was classical pieces of music. But yeah, it's not too bad. Apparently this is based on some sort of true person. I'm pretty sure the story is bullshit, but this guy is apparently some real guy, this Lion Man fella. I don't really know much about history or anything like that, so I'd be interested to know though if you've got any history buffs watching this. Let me know what this guy was all about and how off base this film really is. But yeah, a lot of fun with this one, really enjoyed it. But that's not all that's on this disc, so let's see what else we got, shall we? So for our second feature on this disc, we have Brawl Busters, also known as The Dragon from Shaolin. This is a, depending on where you look, either a 1981 or a 1978 South Korean / Chinese martial arts film, and is directed by a fella called Kim Jeong-yong, and this is an early film for him. The plot revolves around this old guy who's in charge. He's sort of taken over this town and nobody likes him. The guy's a dick. So this young guy who's been sent by his master and then this young woman who is avenging her father's death join forces to take this dickhead down, and there's fighting, and I don't know, I kind of struggled with the plot for this one, if I'm completely honest. I found it a little difficult to follow. I'm not fully sure why, but I struggled with this one. I'm mixed on it, if I'm honest. There was some stuff I really liked, mainly being the first half, and then there was some stuff I really didn't like, comprising most of the last half up until the final fight scene. I feel like maybe it's just a little too samey, and then it throws a lot at you within these samey sorts of bits, and well, we'll get into why it might be muddled later, but yeah, I think it's only 83 minutes, and honestly, it felt like about 2 hours long. It's a little repetitive, and if I'm honest, I was a little tired when I watched it, so maybe that has something to do with why I struggled with it. But yeah, mixed on this one.
I am sure you will die. When a woman kills one of our people, it looks very bad. We are the Tongcheng Party. You must find that damn woman and kill the bitch!
Welcome, sirs.
We will be staying here for the night.
Yes, sir. First, you can get us some food and drink.
Yes, sir. Follow me.
Now, I thought the dubbing was bad in The Sword and the Claw, and then I checked this one out, and oh man, this is atrocious dubbing. Like this is what you think of when you think of 80s bad martial arts dubbing. It is awful. Weird, inappropriate accents for characters. Lines stopping and starting so that they match mouth movements, but in the middle of a sentence. There's just no flow or rhythm to it, and a lot of the time I feel like they're not saying what they should be saying. I don't feel like it's translated properly. I feel like they're making a story up around it. Now, because of this awful dubbing, that might be why I struggled with the plot, because not only that, there's a lot of characters in this as well. There's quite a few characters. A lot of them just like old men. And there's a lot of confusing fighting where people are dying, but maybe they're not, and I don't know. But then you get this dubbing that's trying to explain what's happening, and I just cannot. I can't with it. It's nonsense most of the time. And I feel like it's missing important chunks, or they've just cut important bits out. But then also, because the dubbing's so bad, you can't root for anybody, you can't get behind any of the characters. So it feels boring because of that, because you're not really on anybody's side. And the characters all sound the same because of these stupid voices that they're putting on and things. It's not good. It's not good. It's funny for a bit, don't get me wrong. You'll have a good laugh at some of the bad lines, but it gets old pretty fast with this one. Because this is the thing, The Sword and the Claw has bad dubbing, but it doesn't impact the story in any way, whereas the bad dubbing in this does start to impact your enjoyment and your understanding of the plot and characters, and then that's when the film just sort of screeches to a halt for me. The fighting, though, is pretty impressive. It's pretty good. Again, we get some martial arts. I think it said it's some sort of Chinese martial arts group that's done the choreography for this. And yeah, it's pretty cool. You can see the Chinese influence as well, because every now and then they'll sort of fly. And it always looks awkward to me in Chinese martial arts films where they just start floating around and that, but it does have a charm, and I do like to see it. It is fun. There's something else that I noticed as well with the fights. And at first you don't really notice it, but as it goes on you start to notice it. There's a sound effect that plays every time. Say someone's double-handing a pole or a spear or something. Every time it moves, it plays this really annoying sound effect. And by the last few fights, that's all I could focus on, and I felt like I was going a bit insane watching it. Again, I was a little tired, so maybe a little grumpy, but it is such an annoying sound effect. Doesn't help that the audio is quite compressed, but yeah, the fights are good, maybe a little too overly long, and you get those sound effects in there and it kind of ruins it a little bit for me. There's better martial arts films out there, I think, is the takeaway on this one, really. There are better martial arts films in existence. There are definitely worse, but it's not a selling point, this film, and while it does have its merits, it's more bad than good, I'd say, unfortunately.
How's business been, my friend, eh? Bloody bitch. I never dreamed it would be so easy.
Okay, time for the print then, and with Sword and the Claw, yeah, it's not too bad really. It's a little washed out. It's soft with a bit of a crackliness to it every now and then, but it's very watchable. It has that sort of European bootleg vibe to it, which I quite like. But Brawl Busters didn't fare too well, unfortunately. It's very crackly. There's bits missing. There's all dialogue just completely missing. There's pops. There's loads of scratches. It's a very dirty print. But, these have been rescued from various archives throughout the years, so it's fine, and it's watchable. It's watchable. On the disc, we get the two films dubbed. We don't get subtitled versions or anything like that. We just get the two films dubbed. And then we get something called the face-smashing action trailers. Now this is 5 trailers over 10 minutes. The first 2 trailers are sort of linked. We get Argo Man the Fantastic Superman and Super Argo and the Faceless Giants. Now these 2 are like the most B-movie superhero things you've ever seen in your life. You think like 60s Batman TV serial, but even cheaper than that. Like super campy looking. They look kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. Then we get one for like a Kung Fu film called The Supergirl of Kung Fu. And again, this looks pretty fun. Looks decent. There's some silly bits in it, but yeah, it looks fun. And then we end on 2 more that look related. There is the 3 Supermen, and then the 3 Supermen in the West. Now this looks more like a comedy action. A bit Three Stooges-y maybe, and a bit slapsticky and stuff. But yeah, they look pretty fun, to be completely honest. Looks like there were a few of them as well, with like a big sort of serial thing. I'm guessing these are Italian by the looks of it as well. I might be wrong on that. One of the title cards looks like it had Italian on it, so maybe these are, maybe they're not, I'm not sure. But yeah, those are the 5 trailers that we get, and yeah, it's a fun little trailer reel. But that's all we get on this disc, which is a surprise, especially from last episode where we had 100 video clips on the disc. 100 titles. On this one we don't get as much, I'm afraid.
The Fantastic Superman.
Kill each other. Superman, Superman!
Right then, time for the case. It's pretty good as usual with these. The slipcover has a nice design. It's cartoony, which fits the sillier tone of the film and the campiness, honestly. We get a reversible sleeve again. There's one with the same artwork as the slipcover, and then another one with this sort of print art style, which, yeah, it's okay. Not a massive fan, I prefer the other one, but it's fine. The blurb on the back reads well, and all the information seems correct. They don't include the runtime of the trailers in the special features runtime though, which they usually do on these. They usually lump all the special features together. But yeah, in fact, they don't even mention the trailers at all on this one, which is kind of odd. Outside of that though, this one is, once again, a pretty good case. Overall then, I had a lot of fun with this, especially with Sword and the Claw. That was definitely the one that sort of stood out to me as being worth your time. It's a lot of fun, it's campy, it's charming, it's got some impressive action, it's got better production value than I was expecting. Like, having seen Turkish Star Wars, and even on the back here it compares it to Turkish Star Wars, I was expecting this to look like arse and just be super cheap and silly. But no, it's got a little more going for it than all that, and yeah, I definitely recommend The Sword and the Claw. Brawl Busters, I wouldn't recommend that one. It's definitely like a special feature film. It's never going to be the main event, that film. But as a special feature, it's decent. It's a nice inclusion. But I wouldn't go out of your way to watch it. It's just, yeah, it's a little too repetitive and a little too confusing, and the dubbing's just too bad, really, to really recommend it. But Sword and the Claw, definitely worth a look. There's not too many special features on this, but it is nicely presented, nicely packaged as usual. Yeah, I'd say that this might make a good movie night film or something like that. There's definitely fun to be had with The Sword and the Claw. Especially if you can find it for cheap or something like that, or on offer. So, yeah, not too bad. Bit of a mixed disc, but the main event was really worth watching. Really fun. Next episode, we are on our last Blu-ray in this AGFA 101 collection. I can't believe we're finally here. Finally at the last one. And we're doing something very different. Very, very different for this one. The special features on this disc that we've just looked at might be setting me up for what we're in for with this next one. And if that's the case, colour me interested. I'd be curious to see this. Next episode, we're delving into the world of trailers with the AGFA Horror Trailer Show.